Hello and welcome to an episode of Sushimi-sighs. This is my first recording, so please be nice because I have no idea what I'm doing. But in this video, I'm going to be discussing about my fears with layers. In my previous works, I haven't properly used layers efficiently, and honestly that goes for many of my projects. With this illustration, that all changes and I break my bad habit. I used to figure it would save time with less layers, but I couldn't be more wrong. I used to be scared to try new things, especially when you get used to the same routine. Since I was used to my routine and my same lazy process, I had a fear that if I had changed, then my result might not turn out as well. I noticed as my skill level was growing that it was time I changed with them. Otherwise, I run the risk of staying stagnant and limiting my potential. I had the fear of experimenting with layers. Manga Studio was my first drawing application to practice the arts, and I was green when it came to the properties of layers. There are numerous ways you can use them beyond the standard raster layer. At first I thought the other options were unnecessary. I thought I would draw like the pros without having to dabble in the layer iceberg, but I was in denial. Of course, pros use multiple layers to create their masterpieces. Nowadays, I use Clip Studio Paint, and there are even more options to explore. But I stuck to my regimen, learning the basics first. Then when I felt comfortable at the level I was at, I started to branch out into the layer hierarchy. Since YouTube is my go-to for how-tos, I had the fervor to explore beyond my routine. I found the answers to aid in my quest and to improve upon my skill level. Hence, I found it necessary to begin the journey to the west, the layer hierarchy, or the layer iceberg. So as you can tell, I use these new skills to bring the illustration to a whole new level. I'm not trying to flex here. I'm actually self-conscious about my work, as I'm sure many artists are. I feel like I learned a lot in this illustration. I was aware of the modifications, but I was so afraid to use them because I wasn't sure whether or not I was ready for them. I know I still have a lot to learn. I am nowhere near the level I wish to be at. I have to take this slowly, or at least at my own pace. But then you'll eventually realize, if you keep practicing, you will eventually get to the point where you're like, okay, I need to go to the next step. I am ready. Should you jump right into the layer system? Well, it depends on what level you're at. You can do whatever you like, but in my opinion, if you're just starting out, let's say sketching, and you haven't actually moved it to the computer side yet, and now you have the urge to draw like this illustration, then you're just making it hard for yourself. Remember, you must crawl before you walk. I still have times myself where I want to sprint before I walk. But you have to take it one step at a time. Don't get me wrong though, depending on the project, you can limit your layers. Do what is easier for yourself. If you design some complicated works, then I believe having multiple layers that are properly utilized will help you achieve your finished work better than you realize. Unless you do already. These are just my thoughts on layers. If you're new to drawing and you want to draw characters, I would suggest focusing on sketches for sketching shape, poses, gestures, and perspective. I'm not saying you can't color or anything like that. I suggest not to explore too far ahead of your skill level, or else you may run into hating your work and hit burnout. Trust me, I've been there. I've hit walls and dead ends because of my haste. I wanted to be just like the pros, and I wanted the results to show instantaneously. But of course, that's not how life works. It takes time, it takes steps, and eventually you'll get there. Thanks guys for watching this cringy video. Like I said, it's my first recording and I have no idea what I'm doing. If you want to see more content for some reason, I guess subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.